This next story is a true story of an Asian American man that was brutally betrayed by his Vietnamese girlfriend. This story is full of twists and turns and will leave you feeling like you can never fully trust anyone, no matter how close you think they are. This story should be used as an example of what not to do when dating, visiting, or traveling in Southeast Asia. Here it goes. My name is Min. I'm 26, Vietnamese American from the West Coast. My family and I planned a month-long trip to Vietnam. It was supposed to be a time to reconnect with my roots, enjoy the vibrant culture, and honestly eat as much pho and banh mi as I could. Little did I know that this trip would lead me to Phuong, the woman who would turn my life upside down. So the first few days in Vietnam were great. We landed in Ho Chi Minh City and it felt like stepping into a different world. The sights, sounds, and smells were so alien to me. Although I was physically Vietnamese, mentally and culturally I was American. I never left the States before, except for a trip to Mexico. My family and I visited my aunts and uncles, who were more than thrilled to see us. They showered us with hospitality, and I remember feeling a deep sense of belonging. But amidst all the family chaos, I felt like venturing out on my own. I was single and ready to mingle. That's when I met Phuong. I can still picture her, long black hair, slim, petite with a cute smile. We met at a cafe. She sat next to me while I was scrolling through IG. One of those things that my parents made no exception to was speaking Vietnamese in the household. That really benefited me on this trip. I don't sound like a local, but I'm fully fluent, so I sparked up a convo with the girl next to me, Phuong, in Viet. We hit it off immediately, talking about everything from family to dreams and the struggles of living in a developing country. It was so awesome. I spent most of my trip hanging out with her, learning about her life in Vietnam. She came from a humble background, working multiple jobs to support her family. Not gonna lie, when I met her, I could see the potential, wifey material. I definitely felt chemistry between us. I asked her for her Zalo, which is the WhatsApp version of Vietnam. Once our family trip ended and I returned back to Cali, I couldn't shake the feelings I had for Phuong. We started a long-distance relationship, which let me tell you was a bit tough. Between my work as an online entrepreneur and crypto investor, I found time to video chat and send her messages on Zalo and WhatsApp almost every day. At first, everything felt perfect. We shared our lives and I supported her financially. I know you guys are going to kill me in the comments, but I felt like she was wifey material. I sent money for her rent and groceries. It felt good to help someone I cared about, especially given her background. I thought this would show her I was a protector and provider, not just another dude looking for something casual. But honestly, long distance can be a challenge. I often wondered how she was doing, especially during the times when she would take a while to respond. I tried not to overthink it, but you know how it goes. After a year of this back and forth, I decided it was time to visit Vietnam. This time, I brought along my best friend Jason. Jason was a white dude. We grew up together. I thought it would be fun to explore Vietnam together with my boy, and I was eager to introduce him to Phuong. I had been telling all of my friends about her. I think I gassed her up more than I should have. The moment we landed, I felt that excitement. I couldn't wait to see her again. Phuong was set to meet us the next day in Ho Chi Minh City, and I was excited to see her, if you know what I mean. It was a long time, you know. Jason and I spent the first night checking out local bars, tasting street food, and taking in the nightlife. Jason was treated like a celebrity. He got way more attention than I did when we were out. He was 6'1" and a blonde white dude with blue eyes. We both went to the gym, but he stood out like a sore thumb. And I could tell he wouldn't need any dating apps here to score any chicks.
What's your name? Sorry. Your name?
My name is Nati.
Nati? And you're from here?
No.
The next day, when Phuong finally arrived, I was a bit nervous. She came running over and gave me a hug. We decided to explore the city together, and I invited Jason to tag along. I could tell Phuong and Jason were getting along well, and while I felt happy about that, I also felt a bit of insecurity creeping in. As we visited sites around Ho Chi Minh City, I noticed Phuong glancing at Jason a bit too often for my comfort. She laughed at his jokes a little bit too much and leaned in closer when he spoke. I'm 5'7", and here was my friend standing at 6'1", a complete model compared to me. Despite my success in business, all I could think about was how I didn't measure up. Later that night, we went to a local bar. It was a good vibe and I tried to shake off my worries, but as the night wore on, I couldn't help but notice the way Phuong was looking at Jason. She seemed to light up around him, and that's when the knot in my stomach really tightened. After a few days of sightseeing, I visited my aunt in a nearby city, leaving Phuong and letting Jason hang out on his own. When I got back, something felt off. Phuong wasn't as responsive to my calls or messages. I tried not to think too much of it, but I could tell she was acting distant. And then there was Jason. He seemed overly nice, almost too eager, like overcompensating for something. The way he kept checking his phone made me uneasy. Something was definitely off. I approached Phuong later that day, hoping to talk about how she was feeling, but she avoided my gaze and didn't seem interested in physical affection, which was unusual for her. The unease only grew. Then came the moment that really pulled the curtain. I was sitting on the bed waiting for Phuong to do her makeup in the washroom. And the thought dawned on me, why don't I just go into her phone? It was sitting right there. Her password was her birth year and her pet's name, so I went straight to Zalo, and lo and behold, there I saw Jason's name. I opened the conversation and my heart sank as I pieced together the truth. I guess the first day when we all went out together, they must have exchanged contacts while I was either buying the food or using the washroom. The messages were as clear as day. She told him her you-know-what was still hurting from last time because he was so big. Jason even replied with a laughing emoji and asked her my size, and she replied with just one word, little. I was the angriest I'd ever been in my life. I really felt like I wanted to hurt him. I calmed myself down, took screenshots of the convo and sent it to myself, and then deleted the evidence. I placed the phone back exactly where she left it, and she had no idea. I debated on how I wanted to get her to confess, but in the moment, I just said F it, took out my phone with the screenshots I sent to myself and said, "What the F is this?" in Viet, so she really understood me. She didn't cry, she barely reacted, and my world came crashing down. All I could think was, you effing B. Bro, this last thing she said to me really hurt me. When I asked her why, she said, "Min, I'm sorry, but I just didn't feel satisfied. You're too little. I like big." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. She went on to say that Jason was much bigger than I was. At that moment, my self-confidence crumbled. I had poured my heart and soul into our relationship, and all she saw was physicality. The money I made, the way I treated her apparently didn't matter. What mattered to her was me being Western looking, as she put it. She said I was nice, but I just wasn't her type. With a mix of anger and hurt, I stormed out to find Jason. I confronted him, calling him a snake. I never expected this from him. He was supposed to be my friend. He tried to justify it, saying he didn't mean to hurt me, but it felt like a betrayal that I couldn't overlook. I yelled at him and swung at his face to make him feel the way that I felt. He didn't see it coming and fell to the ground. It's funny because Phuong had told me before that she wasn't attracted to Western guys, that she preferred Asian guys instead. But here I was left to question everything I thought I knew. After the fight, I took time to process everything. I felt lost and broken. The trip that was supposed to be a dream turned to an effing nightmare. I flew back home, my heart heavy with regret and sadness. Over the next few months, I focused on my work, trying to distract myself. I threw myself into building my businesses, hoping the digital world would pull me away from the pain, but bro, it really hurt what she did. I lost a friend along the way, which I'm glad I did because he would have snaked me in the future. It was better he left my life now. As time passed, I slowly started to rebuild my confidence. I began to realize that my worth wasn't tied to my height or how I compared to others. I had goals, dreams, and passions that defined me, and I needed to remember that. Min's story is jam-packed with lessons. Never listen to what a woman tells you. Look at her behavior and actions. That's the moral of the story. I'm 100% sure that Min is going to continue to crush it in life. I'm sure he'll never underestimate someone again. Make sure to check out my previous video on David the Aussie, who did the unthinkable right here. Subscribe, share, comment, and like, and share a story of your own that I can make into the next video. My name is Roberto, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.